My parents gave the family business to my brother because he has a traditional family. I said fine. I held all the intellectual property licenses and revoked them the day he took over. My dad started a small cleaning supply company in 2006 out of our garage. I joined full-time right after college. My brother Tommy joined 3 years later, mostly to answer phones and do deliveries. I was the one who developed our signature product line. I spent 2 years perfecting 3 formulas that actually worked better than the big brands. Dad was impressed but had no idea what intellectual property meant, so when I told him I needed to file patents and trademarks, he waved his hand and said, just do whatever you need to do. I filed everything under my name, not to be sneaky. I was 24, I paid the fees myself, and nobody else cared enough to ask about it. Those patents and the trademark on our brand name were legally mine. For 11 years, I ran operations, handled manufacturing contracts, managed our retail partnerships, and grew the company from a garage project to $2.3 million in annual revenue. Tommy's contribution was sales, which really meant he took clients to lunch and played golf. He was fine at it, but the product sold itself. The real divide started when Tommy married his wife Jess and had 2 kids. My parents loved that. Sunday dinners, grandkid photos on the fridge, the whole picture. I was single, not sad about it, just focused on work. But Mom started making comments. When are you going to settle down? Tommy's building a real life. You just work all the time. It's not healthy. I let it go. Then 3 months ago, Dad called a family meeting at the kitchen table. Mom next to him, Tommy across from me. He said he was ready to retire. I figured this would be straightforward. I'd been running the company for over a decade. Dad looked at Tommy. We've decided to hand the business over to your brother. I waited for the rest of the sentence. There was no rest. I looked at Dad. I'm sorry, what? Mom jumped in. Tommy has a family to support. He has kids, a wife, responsibilities. He needs the stability. You're doing fine on your own. You always land on your feet. I looked at Tommy. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Dad, I built the product line. I run the operations. I manage every supplier we have. Dad nodded. And we appreciate that. But Tommy needs this more than you do. You'll still have a role. We were thinking you could stay on as a consultant. A consultant? In the company I built from the ground up. Tommy finally spoke. It's not personal. Jess and I have been talking about it, and with the kids' school costs and the new house, this just makes more sense for us. You don't even have a mortgage. I stood up. Fine. Everyone looked surprised. Fine? Mom repeated. I nodded. If that's what you want, it's yours. Congratulations, Tommy. I shook his hand and walked out. They probably thought I was being mature about it. I wasn't. I was doing math. It took me 1 week to get everything ready. I sat with my attorney, confirmed what I already knew, and sent formal letters on a Friday afternoon. The letters informed the company that as of Monday morning, all rights to use my patented formulas and the registered trademark were revoked. I also sent notices to our 3 biggest retail partners, letting them know the product licensing was being pulled effective immediately. Tommy called me Saturday morning, barely awake. What is this? What did you do? I told him the truth. The patents are mine. The trademark is mine. I filed them. I paid for them. They're registered under my name. I've revoked your right to use any of it. He started yelling. You can't do this. Dad built this company. Dad built a garage operation. I built a company. There's a difference. Mom called 20 minutes later. You're going to destroy everything this family built. I already tried to be part of this family. You chose Tommy. Now you get to see what Tommy can actually do on his own. By Wednesday, 2 of the 3 retailers pulled their orders. Without the patented formulas and the brand name, the company had nothing to sell. Tommy tried to come up with replacement products, but he'd never stepped foot in the lab. He didn't know the first thing about chemical formulations or supplier specs. He thought the product just existed. Dad called me Thursday night. His voice was shaking. We didn't know